I'm Latoya McKelvin. I am just an all-around movement lover. I'm a FAST qualified Pilates instructor. I've worked with the company for 5 years, going on about 5 years now. They got me like right out the gate. And I'm also a certified yoga instructor. I went to school for dance. So like I've literally been moving my entire life. And I feel like I moved my body a lot, but like as I enter my mid-30s, I'm starting to move my mind a little bit more. And so that's also another component that I'm really enjoying. So basically I teach movement, Pilates, yoga, dance, all over the country, all over, now I can say all over the world. I just got back from I just got back from Ghana.
International.
Hey. Yes. Oh yeah, I see my Bassy bro, my Bassy fam is out there.
Yes, I just love this exuberance of Bassy people on here, like just from like all the way through, like you guys just have a good energy and a good cohesion as a team. It's a team, right? Really, it's like this team of
Yeah.
people who are just passionate about movement, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Bassy was founded by Rael Zakowicz, and I think one of the most forefront, I don't want to speak for him, but like it's family. Like it's really
Yes.
he definitely is like a father figure, a mentor to so many people. And it's trickle down economics. This is in the States, you know what that is. So like,
Yes.
that feeling definitely starts from the top of, embracing everyone as a family and fully supporting as much as you
Mm,
can, your colleagues,
yes,
your family, all that. So yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, Riel was on. I'm gonna have him on again. It was a great conversation. It was just so like just I don't know how to describe it. Like, when you just talk to someone and you can tell that, like, because they're so passionate, you're going to have tons of fans and you're probably going to have some pretty solid enemies too at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be that passionate about something and have no enemies on the planet. So I like the fact that he just stays in this lane and does what he does really well with his people.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You can be passionate. I think what's not polarizing at all about Rail is the fact that he knows his stuff. He knows his crap. Sorry, my partner's in the back sneezing. Like his passion, people, it can be a little polarizing for some. I don't know why my
Where's my pen?
Sorry, my screen keeps going to sleep, so I'm gonna stay close. Yeah. So, actually, I think it's more contagious than anything. Like
Yes.
and he literally like he can put a finger on you during an
Yes.
exercise and make it
Yes.
exponentially harder.
Hmm.
That's just how in tune he is with the anatomy, and with Pilates, it's close to him, so it's
Yes.
amazing.
One more
Yeah.
rail story, just from when we were talking about how when we, as movers, we're working with people in different bodies, like we said, like, you almost need like X-ray vision, right? Like you have to understand where bones are in space and stuff like that. And he leveled it up and he said, it's almost like you need MRI vision, right? Understand where
Yeah.
the muscles are, what things are, how things are moving in that way, right? So, and
Yeah.
I like that because once you get into a conversation about fascia and movement patterns and stuff, it's more than just what the bones are doing. It's like how everything is working in that system, right? So I was like, I'm writing that one down. Thank you so much.
Exactly. And his philosophy around really being able to visualize a human body, even from like walking in or that first roll down, I think really started with with his collaboration with Kathy Grant, because that was her whole thing. Like, she
Yes,
could.
yes, yes. Piercing. Right. So, and that's good. Like we have these people, these heroes, these rock stars, these people who we can look at, and this time is now about you, right? At the same
Yeah.
time. So, what do you take away from that experience? What do you take away from your experience in Ghana? How do we use and tie all these things together into what our quote unquote brand of Pilates looks like for the experience for our people, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's a good question. I think, I was very blessed when I went to Accra. When I went to Ghana, I was teaching at the Pilates studio Accra. And it actually, the owner, Sita, who's just a wonderful mover, she's a wonderful, passionate instructor, and just loves movement. She loves her people. She loves people that look like her.
Yes.
So like that was a beautiful experience because I was able to kind of stay within that Massey foundation, and that
Yes.
and everything that I learned from my teacher training with Massey Pilates has really become the foundation of like my personal movement philosophy. Like
Hmm.
you were just speaking about the collective trauma. One of my major takeaways from my teacher training, being with Rail, him having those X-ray vision, it's like you have to teach to the body in front of you. And guess what?
Yes.
I'm a different person almost every day. So,
Hmm.
so a person who comes in, every week, each week may be a little bit different. And so you're teaching
Yes.
to that body in front of you, no matter who they are, you meeting them where they are. Of course, we
Hmm.
want to progress our clients and have that journey and all that great stuff. But at the end of the day, who is this person in front of you? Like, how are they going to move their big toe? How are they going to move their thumb?
Yes. Right.
So, yeah, that's all like been the foundation of my movement philosophy, is just meeting people where they are, the body where they are, all that good stuff. Yeah. So I
Yes.
think that's how it ties into me and my brand and where I want to go forward. But before I get going, I just want to say is I love the fact that I'm talking to you on Reconciliation and Truth Day in Canada. I didn't even know that existed.
Yes.
Um,
It's actually it's the first time they're doing it.
Oh, okay. That's amazing. Ooh,
Yeah.
inaugural.
Inaugural. True
Yeah,
story.
but overdue for sure. Um,
Well said.
we have a similar situation in the States. I'm not Native American. I'm not indigenous to America. At least my ancestors weren't. However, I grew up in upstate New York, Onondaga County. The Onondaga Indians were a part of they were part of the Iroquois Federation, which was
Mhm.
also one of the inspirations for the Declaration of Independence drafted by the U.S.
Yes.
Our founding fathers,
Yep.
and we still have an issue kind of acknowledging that here. So, like
Yes.
I grew up maybe 5 minutes away from the Onondaga reservation in
Wow.
upstate New York. So, and I will say that upstate New York, being from where I am in particular, I may have had a little bit more closer information provided to
Mhm.
me because it was such an integral part of the Iroquois Nation and Onondagas. So I feel really connected to this. Yeah. So I'm glad.
Oh, that's fascinating. Yeah, that's for me that is fascinating because I'm always learning more about. I'm really passionate about that. It's like I live in Mississauga, and even
Yeah.
like it's just outside of Toronto, and I'm like I hardly ever say Toronto. I'm like I'm from Mississauga. Like this is my and this like it's I want to put this on the map. I want to recognize the
Yeah.
people and the First Nations people are here, right? And all these
Yeah.
different things. So you always look for stories and like almost like fun fact. Did you know that this, and this, happened
Yeah.
here, sort of thing, to just be able to celebrate. Um, and this is for me, this is a big celebration. Like, there's so much stuff that's going on in the world,
Yeah.
and there's so many things that are so negative, negative, negative. The fact that like my city is taking a day off, like not even the whole province. I think there's only 3 provinces in the nation that are acknowledging today.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
so the province it hasn't even fully acknowledged it, but the city of Mississauga has, and it's a day off,
Yeah.
right? And they're moving towards making a national holiday. So they're gonna take from today and say like, this is what we did. Where are you, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's good stuff.
Yeah, that's
Um,
progress. I like it. I like it. In the States, so we have Columbus Day, and I think a lot of states I'm not sure if we've done it federally, but a lot of states are moving forward and calling this Indigenous People Day, versus Columbus Day, just to kind of honor
Yes.
and recognize, the people who originally who are originally here on North America. So,
Right. Right.
so slow. It's an uphill journey for all of them, but
Right.
let's recognize the win, seriously. So that's awesome. Yeah.
Thank you. Right. And I think, moving back around to fitness, this is our business. Like that is, if you think about it, we just talked about X-ray vision or
Yeah.
working with the person in front of us. We're in the business of celebrating progress,
Yes. Yes.
right? Like
Yes. Yes.
you want to see, oh, you did 5 pounds last week, you're doing 10 this week. Great. You did one roll up, now you're doing five. Great. Whatever it is, we celebrate that progress. We don't just say, well, look how, like you're not there
Yeah.
yet. Like, well, when you're going to get there. Like you're saying, hey, we did like one more little thing today. So I think that on a social level, whether it's racism or indigenous or whatever it is, we need to be able to look and say, okay, this is what we can celebrate today. This is the progress. This was Orange Shirt Day.
Yeah.
And now
Exactly.
now it's Truth and Reconciliation Day. Then it'll be National Truth and Reconciliation Day. Then it'll be
Yes.
national. Then it'll be like whatever it is. But this is a North America thing. Like, before Canada and the U.S., there was Turtle Island, North America. There wasn't even a question of the two countries. This was their land, the
It
whole
was their
continent,
land. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Well put. Well put. I think even I needed to kind of see, because sometimes you can be so jaded. Hold on one second. See.
it gives me a second to find my pen too, because I think I left my pen out there. Oh, I'm freestyling it here, Latoya. I have no pen, so you say
Oh
something and I don't
no.
remember it. I'll just have to try and
It's
use
all
my
good.
mind.
I have my phone right here, so I'm like going to be taking notes. I'm taking notes down too. But yeah, so as a kid, I always remember like, oh, I don't want to be the, a jaded adult, da 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 da. And
You saw a lot of
so,
jaded adults as a kid, perhaps.
so like I don't want to just be pessimistic. I think part of my nature is naturally to be optimistic, but when we talk about this collective trauma, and as my knowledge of things just kind of deepens, I mean, sometimes it just gets overwhelming. I don't know if it's,
Yes.
I don't think it's being jaded. I don't think it's being negative. It's just a sense of being overwhelmed. But I found solace, and I try to help people find solace by being present, being aware of where they are, and celebrating the good wins. So if I do that with myself and I do that with clients, why not do this collectively with all of the values and the initiatives that are important to me?
Right. So being kind to ourselves.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Being kind to ourselves is probably like one of my biggest mantras in life. I believe it was Anna Sokolow. She's a dancer from New York City. I think she was around in like the 1920s. I might be getting that day a little wrong, but she always talked about the inner monologue of a dancer. And so through my pathway of life, I realized that we all have an inner monologue that runs in our head constantly.
Absolutely.
The saying, we can all be our worst, we can be our worst critics. Like, it's that inner monologue going through our head. And so I feel like my little piece that I can give to the world is to like help people evolve their inner monologue to be a little kinder to themselves, especially in the arena of fitness, because sometimes you can look at fitness or working out or doing something as a punishment. Oh, I ate a potato chip, so I got to go run these calories off. Like, exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Sometimes it can just be so aspirational and so out there for us. Like, oh, I'm doing this to lose weight. I'm doing this for, we have all of these external reasons, and we put like a negative spin on it. So it's like, okay, I'm here today. I'm present. I'm working out.
Yes.
Kudos, small win there. I'm
Right.
doing one more pelvic curl than I did before. Kudos,
Right.
And just knowing that we all have to start somewhere. That's another thing that kind of goes into our internal monologue is when we start something, we expect to be good at it right then and there.
Yeah,
I
instantly.
see
Yeah.
that so much with yoga and with Pilates. Like people come in and they're like, I'm like, dude, this ain't easy. I'm still
Yeah.
working on it. And I've been doing this for almost 20 years.
Right.
So, yeah.
So
Um,
funny.
yeah.
No, I'm
Uh,
actually I'm laughing on two levels because like what you're saying is 100% accurate, and also you totally act like my sister with like the big hand movements and everything. I'm like dying laughing. I'm like, I'm talking to Janae right now. Like I'm
that's my
really
middle
talking to.
name. Shut up. That's my
Stop
middle
it.
name. No, Latoya Janae McKelvin.
There you have it.
This world is too small.
I'm totally
We're
gonna send this to after. Yeah.
don't worry. We're I already see you as my brother, so it's all good.
Facts. Yes.
Yes,
As
yeah. But
you were
yes.
saying.
So just, using Pilates, using movement, as that vehicle to help just evolve I don't, using the word change, like, I can't force people to change at all. I don't want to take on that responsibility. But if I can be part of your evolution, hallelujah, let's do this.
Well, yeah, I keep saying it's a fitness journey. It's a journey, right?
Hmm.
So like I'm coming alongside you in this fitness journey. Like I'm not doing it for you. I'm not giving you answers for it. Like we spend 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week, 3 hours a week together. The rest of those 100 hours are yours. So I mean, look, what can I do in the time that we have together to help you on your journey? So
Yeah.
when people shift their mindset to that, and then they start to take more ownership of it, and then we can start to celebrate their progressions and give them some patience. And circling
Hmm.
back to what you're saying about being kind to ourselves is having grace with yourself in this. Like, I mean, like, what have you gone through? Like, what set up this moment? How long did it take you to gain that way? How long have you been in this negative mindset? All these different things. Now give yourself some grace to start this journey and establish some new habits and patterns, and let's celebrate the process, not just like the product.
Oh my goodness. We really may be related by blood or something because you're using all
All of
of
your keywords, all
all
your
of my
talking points.
keywords.
Yes.
Yes. Having grace. I think it starts with having grace with yourself, and then that extends to the world, and you're able to have grace, be compassionate with those around you. My partner and I have conversations all the time, just so just having grace with yourself, having grace with one another, having grace with our community. So it's one of those things that really, it doesn't mean that you don't hold yourself accountable. It doesn't mean that
No.
you're not working. It's just a matter of having grace, and then enjoy the journey. That's like, I say that so much. Safety first when I'm working with equipment, and enjoy the journey. Those are like, all of my clients like can probably hear that in their head.
Yes.
But like, you enjoy the journey of the pelvic row, meaning, you feel each vertebrae one at a time peel up, off of the
Yes.
mat. There we go. That's enjoying the journey. You don't want to just get there and then it's anticlimactic. You want to really enjoy the journey. Same thing with the overall arcing journey of your fitness journey, or your personal evolution journey, whatever it is. Just
Mhm.
enjoying that journey, because those little things that happens from point A to point B are actually, it'll make getting to point B that much more gratifying and sweet.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know about you, but like with your dance background and like there's a sense of being elite, not in a negative sense elite, but in the kind of positive sense of being like, you know, you are gifted and talented, all those different things. So with that mindset, it's a lot more difficult sometimes to have that grace for yourself because you have such high expectations over there, and then you want to bring that
Mm-hmm.
into this arena, and you might not have that, right? So I find that, like I was talking with my colleague here yesterday, like we talk all day about rest and helping our clients and giving them time and permission to do all these different things. But for us, it's tough because like we still got to get our numbers on our bench press. But it's for us, it's tough because we want to like sort of thing. So that that dialogue that we have with our clients and the dialogue we have with ourselves are two different things. And I'm always challenged to find that for myself. Am I really getting rest? Am I really taking time for myself? Am I just preaching that here on Core Conversations, or am I taking a day off every now and then? Like, you know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. So I don't know, I've just been reflecting on that for myself, like on that, not on the same level. So yeah.
I like the idea of reflecting, on it. One of the principles of Pilates is awareness, being aware of your actions. So I like, it makes me love you even more to know that, you're internally like being introspective about, are you practicing what you preach? And yeah, same here. Is everything's about balance. Everything is about balance, and that's one of the things that I do appreciate, really appreciate about Rail is that whatever that man says, he does. Like, so he practices what he preaches. And it is even that me wanting to live up to that can be uh kind of a never ending cycle of I will work really hard to live up to that, to make sure that I'm trying to practice what I preach. But
Right.
the whole idea that with as an instructor, even if you're coming from a world where there is an external expectation, because whether you're a dancer or a doctor or a veterinarian or a custodian, like there are expectations, there are external
Of
expectations, and you have to meet those external expectations. But life is about balance. Another principle of
course.
Pilates: how do you find that balance? And it's about the journey. I don't
The
think
journey.
anyone. It's about the journey. Yeah.
So, talking about your actual Pilates journey, how did you find Pilates? Like, how did you first get exposed to Pilates?
Great question. And I think people are always shocked when I tell them the answer. I've been doing Pilates since I was 14.
Whoa.
Um, so as you mentioned before, like I'm a dancer, and so I was in Syracuse, New York. That's where I'm from. Woo woo, let's go Orange. On a side note, I'm so happy Carmelo Anthony's coming to LA. Sorry. um,
Yes.
so I was dancing at Center Ballet and Dance Arts in Syracuse, New York, and one day my ballet teacher, Miss Boughton, was like, okay, we're going to start doing Pilates class. So every other Thursday, we would come in and we would do a mat Pilates class. And from then on, Pilates has always been a part of my cross training journey as a dancer and performer. When I got to Temple University, I was a dance major there. We had a girl, they were just establishing like a Pilates program, which I thought
Oh,
was dope. And it was being led by Jennifer Morley, who was a professor there. And I fell in love with it. She was the most passionate person I had ever met about Pilates.
wow.
So I felt like my relationship with Pilates as cross training was pretty passive until I got to my sophomore year at Temple, and I met Jennifer JMO, and she was just so passionate. And I swear I was dancing with Philadelphia too at the time. So I was dancing with Philadelphia, doing Dunham every day, and taking Pilates 3 times a week. I don't think I had ever been in like the best shape. That was peak Latoya.
Your best days are still ahead of you, though. Like, don't be
Right.
like, like,
But that was something special. I could have probably lifted a car if I wanted to. But so that's when I started taking the journey a little bit more serious, as introducing all of the equipment into my routine as well. So I always kept that up, just like some people would go to a aerobic class, a bar class. I would go to my Pilates class. And then when I moved to California, I knew that I wanted to transition from performing and just focus on teaching. And I was like, I just don't want to hurt little bodies. I want to give these bodies that I'm helping to mold and create, because they're going to be spending hours at a time with me. Um, I want to give them the best knowledge possible. And yes, I did go to school for dance, but it was more for dance performance and choreography. So I thought that having more of an understanding of kinesiology, I had a practical knowledge of it, but having like
yes,
the really really informed, tangible knowledge of kinesiology, anatomy. So I decided to go do a teacher training program, I think luckily enough, where I was able to go to Bassi. So even going to Bassi was kind of serendipitous because like
Yeah,
at that point I
absolutely.
probably would have just gone to any program. I just wanted
Right.
to get the anatomy of it. And I think it was one of the last time that Rail actually taught the comprehensive. So he was my instructor. And
So
at that
cool.
point in time, yeah, and I had read his book already. But I like my memory is not always the great, so it was like I didn't necessarily put two and two together, but I had already had his book.
Yes,
And then I'm like,
that's awesome.
so yeah, so I ended up going to do the comprehensive training at Bassi HQ. At the time I was in Costa Mesa, and you know, I really connected with Rail, Stella, and like just the whole collective of Bassi, you know,
Yeah.
having all of the international visitors come from all over the place, and they've just been stuck with me ever since.
Yes. That's awesome. And then, so then,
Yeah.
how did the Ghana opportunity arise?
Well, so CETA lockdown happened, right?
Yeah.
And the CETA, the owner of the Pilates studio Accra, she her partner is Ghanaian, so she was already there, kind of living that back and forth lifestyle. But she got stuck there during COVID. She got stuck in Accra, and she was like, "Well, I'm going to use this time wisely." And she opened up a freaking studio. How like inspiring is that? Like during a
Crazy.
pandemic, she's
Yeah.
like, "I got this. This is my dream." So she did that, and it's a freaking beautiful space. Anyone listening, please travel to Accra just to go to that Pilates studio.
Yes.
It's freaking amazing. So yeah, she opened the studio, I believe, in October of like 2020. So it's coming up on the year. Wow. So when things did open back up, she knew that she would have to travel for an extended period of time. We connected. She knew that I was a Bossy trained instructor. We actually did the mentor program virtually together. So we're both part of Black Girls Pilates. Black Girls Pilates. Woo woo! Shout out Sonia. So yeah. So and you know, the Pilates world is small. The Black Pilates world is even smaller. So the fact that we both were from Bassi qualified, came from the same school and training, we already connected. So I mean, we started talking, and I think what 4 months later I was there. 4 or 5 months later I was there,
Just up and
and
went, eh? Look at
just up
you.
and went.
Good for
I
you.
talked to my partner about it, so I didn't just fly away. And so little backstory on that. So our
Okay.
idea, our idea was like after we got married to honeymoon in Accra in
Okay.
Ghana. We
Yeah.
wanted to go there. You
Yeah.
know, 2020 happened. So that didn't go down. So
Yes.
this just kind of came afterwards.
Mhm.
So it was
So
like,
did he
okay,
go with
this
you
is
then?
so he ended up coming out there. So he
Oh,
was there for
amazing.
a month. He was there for a month. It was literally life changing for both of us.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Um, yeah, it was the clientele there was amazing. So I work in the States. I think because I'm very nurturing, I meet people where they are. I work with a lot of mature clients, you know, to really keep their quality of life, either for rehabilitation purposes or just to make sure to keep their mobility going. Um, and across the clientele was completely different. Like I would say from 25 to maybe 45. These men and women could do any and everything that I asked them to do. It was freaking
Yes.
amazing. So I
You
was
must have
able
been
to, I'm like,
like a
let's,
kid
and
in
they
a
were,
candy store, right? Like,
and yes, and their bodies were eating it up. So I was like, let's go. And so it was for me, it actually improved my practice because I try not to teach anything that's not in my personal practice at all. So I had to, because they were so good and they were so consistent. It's
exactly.
not just
Level
good; they were
up.
consistent. They were
Yes,
so.
yes.
So I'm like, okay, I had to open up my mentor book and like start like really, really going through all my mentor material, the advanced repertoire. Like I think I've been teaching for 5 years now. I never taught like tendon stretch. like on the reformer, you know, just
Right.
because it's a
Yeah.
challenging exercise. People were
Yes.
just eating it up. So it was
That's
exciting.
okay. Let's just dive deep on that, like on that technical piece for a second, because like I love the fact that you mentioned that, because I know show of hands from this is a quick little show of hands icon in the comment section. If there's some exercises in the repertoire that you know, and you know that you always skip over,
Two hands,
because
three hands, and a
right,
foot.
right. And the reason why is because like when you're in the flow with the client, you're like, it's gonna take too long to teach that. Let's do something else, right? When you lean into those exercises that may be uncomfortable for you to teach, and now you're struggling with your words, and then maybe you demonstrate it, and your demonstration is not going to be that clean, and you think all these different things, and you talk yourself out of those tough exercises.
Yep.
So I love the fact that you stretch yourself on that, and that's one of the things that upstretch is down stretch is one for me. Upstretch. I'm like, that's gonna be that wave thing. You're not gonna figure it out. Let me move on. Like I don't say that to them, but like that's you pause on it. Nah, let's just skip it. So I like the fact that you talked about that, because that's one of the things that, like, for me, I'm always challenge myself. Like, how do I throw those exercises back in? Because they're part of the repertoire, and the
They're
person might
part of,
actually need it, but we're so comfortable with what we teach.
yeah, yeah. On that note, I will say that it's level of trust. You know, you got to trust
Hmm.
yourself. You got to trust your client. They got to trust you when you got them in this weird position and they don't know if they're going to
Yes.
stay there. So, again, I think it speaks more to the client than it does to me, because I was able to trust that they were listening to me, that they, you know,
Right. That's key.
that right, safety first. Remember, that's one of
Hmm.
the things that I was, so safety first. So yeah, I'm happy that I was able to stretch myself, and I think that I was able to do that because of, you know, the caliber of client, or like just the determination that was there, you know.
Yes. Yes. You
Yeah,
got
so
resilient clients. The,
yes, yes, yes. So, yeah, and also, actually, so through the pandemic, you know, there's always a silver lining. I got certified to teach yoga during the pandemic. And
so
when I
cool.
started the certification, it was to deepen my personal practice. Like my partner, he used to be a yoga instructor, and we practice yoga together often. But I think, you know, being a mover, having the type of brain that I have, I need to understand everything completely. Like, you
Yes.
know, because like doing pigeon, each instructor, like the focus for pigeon was different. I was like, I need to know what pigeon needs to be like.
Yeah.
So, so I did a teacher training program through Black Prana magazine. It used to be Black Yoga magazine. So they are also really amazing. It was really nice to go through a training that was really focused on, you know, BIPOC and folks from the African diaspora. So that was really, really nice. So the dialogues, the conversations, and everything that we had, it turned out to be much more than I could have hoped for or dreamed for, like in my
Amazing.
wildest dream. But I
Yeah.
bring that up because I got to teach yoga in Accra as well. See, they gave me that opportunity to start
Yes.
incorporating that. I didn't really have an intention to like really teach yoga, but it was more from my understanding. But that was lovely. Just kind of, it helped my practice. You know, I have some clients
Yeah,
there
absolutely.
that I'm like, at this point, we're no longer, it's not the student teacher, we're like practitioners doing this together, let's flow together. So that was
Yes.
lovely. So that was a
Wow.
interesting way of kind of diving in and getting my feet wet with that.
Love that. That's an adventure, right? Like that's the adventure of it. It's like just get uncomfortable. They're safe. You might mess up your words, but whatever. Just make your
But
pivots and keep moving, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
So,
you had sorry.
what exercise don't you? So you named, I think, upstretch. What's another
Yeah.
exercise for you?
Um, I think I was doing tendon stretch this morning. Snake is one I think I want to get back into the repertoire for some people, right? So that chunk of exercises like long back stretch, tendon stretch, stomach massage, snake, like that piece, I sometimes kind of miss that, right? Like so if I have certain people where I see they're just flowing, it's like, okay, I'm gonna throw these exercises at you, but like the way that I teach, and I don't know if this will help someone, the way I teach, there's days where I'll go through the repertoire because I want people to understand the flow of the exercise and just the mindset of how one exercise sets up another. And there's
Yep.
days when I spend time to unpack an exercise. And let's do all the exercises that set this
Mm,
exercise up, right? So there'll be days to do both. So that's snake's an example of a day where I'll we are doing one exercise today. It is snake, and we're going to do like 50 exercises to set up the one exercise we're doing today, sort of thing, right? So I'll take some time with it. So that I think that's in my head. I'm like, okay, that's the next piece I want to teach people, and then go back and teach them how it's incorporated into everything and what sets it up and where we can find that else. So that sort of thing. So I always think that through, but I'm also mindful of when I'm showing them a flow of exercises, which ones I might pass over for the sake of efficiency or time for
understood.
me.
Understood. Love
So
it. You can always practice snake on me, dude. I can't. I'm like, oh no.
yes. Well,
Cool,
and you're
cool.
a dancer. Try being a guy athlete, bow-legged, like it's like there's layers of things that make that exercise not fun. And
Yeah.
Scoop Pilates and PT just rolled in. I'm sure he could testify. It's not, yeah.
No, lovely, lovely. Mm.
Mm. And I was gonna ask actually, now you work with like older adults and just like that generation for the sake of movement and just like freedom in their body sort of thing. And then in Ghana and Accra, they're working with like stronger, younger athletes and people, movers, different types of things. Did you land at who like your ideal client or your favorite type of people to work with is, having seen the spectrum of different humans?
Okay, so I gotta preface this by saying, so I also work in marketing, and marketing, we always like, oh, pick your target audience, and
Yes.
every entrepreneur casts a wide net. So I want everyone, I want to maximize, and that's not normally a good thing. But in
Right.
this moment, I'm like, I love all of my clients.
Right. So you know the
So
right answer and you're giving the wrong answer anyway, is what
like
you're saying.
honestly, let's see. You know what? If I'm being truthful, I would probably say the mature clients, just
Mhm.
because like you don't have any filter, and I feel like I get just as much out of the session or the hour that we're together as they do. Like, just listening to
Yes,
stories,
for
how they
sure.
started, where they are. So, in that sense, I really like my mature
Mm,
clients, and they tend to be open up a little bit quicker to me.
yes.
I think, they say when you get older, you start caring about less, and that might have
Yes.
something to do with it. But so they're very, and, I typically don't like generalizing, but this tends to be across the board. They'll give their
Accurate.
opinion when they want.
Yes.
So I really appreciate my sessions with my older clients, just because I feel like I'm also like benefiting from this a lot. Just, I've
Mm.
gotten mentorship from some of my clients, just like spot on advice about business, everything in between. So
Yes.
yeah, if I had to, but I
I
love
hear
them
that.
all, even my kids, even my munchkins, because I teach dance to kids. That's the
Yeah.
reason why I got into it. So
Right, right, right.
yeah,
No, and that's fair. I mean, like, I think, yeah, well, like, you strike me as someone who would like everybody. So sometimes the way I frame this question is simply, who would you train for free the rest of your life? You know what I'm saying? If someone walked in
yeah,
and they were like, okay, I'm a dancer. I dance at this school, and I've never been injured, but I think that this Pilates thing can help me. Would you be like, let's go, right?
yeah,
Or an older adult comes in and they've just come off an injury and they heard that Pilates can help them. Is that the person you're like, yes, let's go, right? Like that sort of thing.
yeah,
So for me, if I have a guy walk in, hey, my wife told me that Pilates is probably going to help me with my hockey game, and I've been complaining about my back for 6 weeks. I heard this Pilates thing can help me. That's the person I'm like, yes, like let's do this, right? Like introducing men to this whole system of exercise when you thought that it was just
That's
about
you.
doing it best. That's me, right? So,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
love working with everybody. Like I love my female clients. I love kids. I have my son's basketball team I'm working with now. These guys are eating it up. But that guy that walks in and just doesn't
Hmm.
realize the power of what this can do for them, that's the one that I train you for free the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Then my answer would definitely be the same, would definitely be my mature clients, just because they get so much out of like the mobility, from the mobility aspect of it.
Yes.
It literally can be life changing. Speaking of that, like this right here is from one of my mature clients.
Okay.
he's,
It's
he's a,
backwards on the watch. I can't see it.
yeah, it says windows in progress. He's a photographer.
Okay, cool.
So he actually got into it. So he's a business owner, but his daughter got him like photography classes maybe 2 years ago, and he's just been head first into it. Shout out to
Wow.
Leonard. And so this was one of his first collections, and I loved it. Yeah. So
Nice.
he gave it to me for Christmas. Like, oh my god.
Your people must
Yeah.
love you, especially like older adults. So they could just like be themselves and just, yeah.
Yeah, come as you are, like, judgment free zone. I know that may seem cliche, and yeah, yeah, come as you are, everyone. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So this is going to sound like a weird statement, but I'm just thinking about this as we're having this conversation. I'm just really, really enjoying this. There's so much to be said for amplifying voices and giving Black women space as professionals and respecting them and just giving them this airtime sort of thing, right? So I'm having this conversation on one level and we're joking about how you act like my sister and we're having a fun time with it. But at the same time, I feel like between you and some of the other women I've had, I'm just really loving all these professional and emerging leaders who are coming up that are in my space, like that becomes our space. And like I
Yeah.
for the people who are watching this and who will see the replay later, I think that you're doing a great job. I think that you've had an amazing opportunity to be in Ghana and just see the world and not get locked into a North American paradigm of what Pilates looks like, what movement looks like. So that makes you a leader in so many different ways. That makes you
Oh,
special in so many different ways.
thank you, thank
You know what I'm
you.
saying? So like, yeah, I'm so glad that you're here for that. Like, thank you so much for being here for that reason.
I really appreciate you acknowledging that. Yeah, we can go on and on about women, in particular, Black women or Indigenous women, where they stand on quote unquote the totem
The
pole.
totem pole,
But
so to speak. Yeah.
yeah, but I thank you for acknowledging that. And I can, ping pong that compliment back to you and say, like, my partner is all about, like, he always speaks about, like, you can tell who you are by the people around you or the people in your community. So the fact that you can sit here and say that you've given up, you're utilizing your platform or sharing it to help to amplify the voices, and of people already in your community. It's not like you have to go and search, blah, blah, blah. This is
Right.
organic. I've been
Yes.
following you for a minute, so
Hmm.
I think it's a testament to who you are. But I do think that the world is changing as well. Just kind, again, much needed, but it's
Yeah.
changing, and I feel like a lot of people are at least becoming aware. And I think becoming aware that, hey, I have I don't know, just becoming aware of reading the room, basically, quote unquote, reading the
Yes.
room, socially, globally, all of that good stuff, and
Hmm.
and whatever they do with it, they do with it, but becoming aware. So I think that's what's
Yes.
happening in the world right now. So thank you.
Absolutely. Culturally literate, I
I
think
like
is the
it.
phrase. Yeah.
Culturally
Yeah.
literate. Sounds so much
Right.
better than being woke right now.
Thank you. I don't know who said it first, but we're using it now. We're claiming that, or
Yes,
redeeming
yes,
it,
yes.
whatever the case is. So yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
So what's next now? You're talking like we're talking before offline just about like matters of movement and stuff like that. So what's going on next for you in terms of where your business goes?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm in the process of working on an initiative called Movement Matters.
Mhm.
And basically what I'll be doing is curating like pop-up movement events. It could be Pilates,
Nice.
yoga, dance, or a mixture of all of them. I'm also into breath work as well, so and mindfulness. So that'll sorry about that.
Yeah, okay.
And on top of that, we'll also offer like uh, what do you call it? Like tailor-made corporate wellness packages because a lot of times
Nice.
big corporations, not necessarily big, but businesses wanna if COVID did nothing, it showed us that we need balance, correct? And so
Absolutely.
more companies want to offer a sort of balance for their client, for their workers, their employees. It creates a better working environment. It helps with productivity. So we'll be tailoring wellness packages, wellness events for businesses large and small. So that's another thing. So I'm really,
Nice.
really excited about that. And then also I'm working on just kind of pulling together an on-demand like video database so everyone can basically, and that will
Yes.
be open to everyone because the idea is that movement matters. Whether you wake up every morning and you move your finger 10 times and that's your movement, and like it's just whatever it
Yeah.
is, get out, do something, move. And so that's going to be like the basis of our philosophy and also using that movement to be kind to yourself and to be kind to others. So, yep,
You
that's
tied
me.
that up nicely. I'm like 58. Woo, she just like put a bow on
Thank
that. That was
you.
nice.
I do have to say one thing. So we have
Yes.
this Pilates. Sorry. New iPad, getting used to everything.
Hey,
But look at this. So we have you, a black male Pilates professional in Toronto, and me, a black female Pilates practitioner, mover, teacher in here in California. Like in my wildest dreams, I did not. The 14-year-old me did not see this happening at all, and I just think
right.
it's freaking amazing. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So
Thank you.
thank you. It's a great way to spend this day. Like I'm so glad that this landed on this day as well. So
Let's talk about that. That's amazing.
nice. I just want to go through some of the comments here. I didn't actually move in. You know when you get lost in the conversation, you don't even actually like. So you are here. Thank you for watching, everyone. This has just been like a thing. So Fly Studio Accra has been. How do you pronounce that properly? I think I've been
Accra.
mispronouncing. Accra,
Accra.
Accra.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
cool.
It's the capital of
And
Ghana.
yes, her energy is everything. Miriam
Aw.
was saying, Latoya looked great. Was one of the comments that came in earlier. Orhan's a gentleman who's been on a couple times. He's also Basi family, so he was like giving you a shout out
Yes.
earlier for that.
Yeah. We did the mentor program together, I
Oh,
believe.
did
So
you?
yeah.
Nice. There you go. Karen's Pilates corner earlier was saying, I got to train with him this summer. He made me do 5 roll downs, and I was like, oh, giddy up.
I love Karen. She's dope.
Yes. Yeah, so she also he's a Pilates ninja. Too funny. Yeah.
Hi Sechkin. I see you out there.
And Phil Griffin is saying, amazing at life where life takes you. At 40, I definitely didn't see myself as a Pilates teacher.
Enjoying the
So
journey. We may
enjoying it.
we may think it's gonna, life or whatever journey we are is gonna take us one place and we end up somewhere else. That's okay. That's what the universe has for us.
Absolutely. My shout out earlier that I was saying about we are here last week, in many sense, like there's almost like a double meaning. Like we are here, like we as Black people in this Pilates industry, all these different things are here, and like you see this in this conversation. But then there's also that sense like I didn't see myself doing this at this age. Like we are here, like this is exactly where we are in the right place at the right time. We're doing exactly what we're called to do right now, right? And
Yeah.
so I like that. I kind of revel in that, kind of lean into that a little bit and be like, okay, before we get too caught up in what we need to do next, let's just take a minute and just pause right here and just enjoy this, right?
Be present.
And being
Just be
present.
present.
Yep. Good stuff. Um, Thank you for your time today.
This was like, honestly, this was the easy. I was so nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I was very, very
Uh,
nervous. This has been one of the most enjoyable conversations. Okay, beyond being like Mr. Pilates guru, you are absolutely created for this right here. Just talking to people, helping them, making it easy for them to let down their defenses in a pretty, painless manner. So thank you, seriously.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad to hear it was a painless manner. That's awesome. Thank you.
Well, not. I think so I've seen you chat with a bunch of people, and like me, I'm just like, I try to connect. I try to find a human way to connect with any and everyone, but not everyone has that. And every conversation that you have, you're able to just like draw out and get to the meat of something. And it's so that's a gift, it's a skill set that not everyone has. And so thank you for sharing yours.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right.
Yeah,
Well, I'm feeling good now, so let's end on that note. Hey. Awesome. Thank you to everyone who joined us today. We really appreciate your comments and supporting your girl. She's amazing. Latoya, thank you so much for your time today as well.
Thank
So
you
good.
so much. Thank you. And we'll stay in touch, seriously.
Oh, no doubt.
And
Absolutely.
we may have to do a virtual session where you walk me through Snake, because I need it. Your girl needs it.
All right.
I'll
Sounds
talk
good.
to you
All
later.
right. Take care. See ya.
Bye.